my concern with the cops is that they don't recognize terrorists. They don't recognize danger. They don't recognize like what's a destabilizing force in our society versus what's somebody exercising
that definitely happened.
free
To be
speech.
clear, I hate pointing at like one or two pictures because you had a lot of stuff going on with police taking pictures of like BLM people as well. Like this was like people act like this was like an unprecedented.
The BLM people weren't causing a national security threat, right? For the most part.
Well, depending on the city, BLM caused a fuck ton of damage in riots. I think
so
in
you're
Minneapolis.
Talking about, like, Minneapolis, the police.
I'm not taking an ideological position one way or another. I'm just saying that like the idea that I just want to have conversations that reflect what actually happened. Okay, the idea that BLM people were beating the shit out of everywhere and they didn't get the protest is that's just obviously not true. We've got tons of footage of people like past dark that are like setting shit on fire and a whole bunch of damage going on. We also have footage of cops treating protesters very unfairly in BLM protests, absolutely. But we also have pictures of cops that were like cops taking knees and cops taking pictures with other BLM people with their hands up and stuff doing the Black Power thing or whatever. Like the idea that like every single cop is this white.
They're not monolithic.
That just is. It's easy fodder for the right to attack. Like we can all go up and look up pictures of like all these cops like taking a knee and stuff for BLM and stuff. So when you say things like, oh well, imagine the protesters were black, they would have been treated. It's like, well, hold on. It's a little more complicated than that. I think
it is a little bit more complicated than that. But like, I mean, I think that really the cultural thing, and that includes, I guess, race. And you're right. There, cops aren't monolithic. Not every cop is white. But it does tend to be like, I'm wondering, because like I wanted to drag this research up and like actually be able to link it to you and stuff like that, but maybe you're familiar with this study. It was a study on group dynamics, right, where they had a group of people that, I don't know, 14 people or whatever, and over the course of several weeks they'd take one person out of the group, they'd bring a new person into the group, and by the end of the period they had completely shifted over so that no one that was in the original group was still in the group that remained, right? And they kind of took measures of group dynamics. I don't remember exactly what, but what they determined was that the dynamic that was set at the beginning was kind of carried forth to the end. So it didn't matter that you had completely different people in this group. By the end of the study, there was something about, a group being formed and establishing certain patterns that has like a momentum that like carries forward. I kind of would argue that the same thing is true with the police. It's probably not time to think of latency because like I'm a little bit late today. We ended up starting early to accommodate a guest, and I guess you guessed who that guest is. Do you know the guest? Have you guessed the guest? Has the guest been guessed? Oh wait, I wrote the guest. Okay, so it says the guest. I think it's pretty clear. I'm gonna be talking to Destiny today. Yeah, is it me? Potentially hang around afterwards. You too, Senpai Chow. Yeah, no, totally. We will be talking about some more, especially about I don't know. I got in trouble, chat. Oh, is that my YouTube chat? Oh my God, everything's in trouble. Everything's getting me in trouble today. That's not cool. It looks like I've got all my YouTube set up here instead of being the Twitch setup. I can fix that really quickly though. But yeah, my video where I covered the attempted coup, it got taken down for like, what, deceptive? I don't know. I said something about like cat girl super soldiers. And now I'm wondering if they went through the video and they're like, hey, there's no cat girl super soldiers in this. What are you talking about? There's some just blue hair chick with cat ears. What are you talking about? That's not a cat girl super soldier. How is she a super soldier? I don't think she looks like she can even fight. Does she look like she can even fight, chat? Anyway, we'll leave that one up in the air. Let me put chat on screen because that's important. You're important. And you know who else is important? Who else is important that I'm ignoring right now? That I should probably stop ignoring, yeah. So there's like there's like a cliche that's like the last person to pick up the call or the last person to get on the phone is the most important. I think it's like in business, like, right? When like some big shit is getting, you like if you're calling the big boss, but you're the like your boss's helper, then what you do is first you're on the phone, you call their like helper, and their helper says, okay, I'm gonna get the boss, and then then you get your boss on the phone. If their boss is the most important, then the last person on the phone is the boss of the really important. It's like a important areas. I don't know, chat. The chat is pretty damn important. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think people realize how important the chat is. Like, you are literally, like, you are Twitch. Do you know that? You're literally what this is all about. Like, right? You're literally why Destiny, people say Destiny's a big streamer, right? It's the chat. It's not the streamer. It's not the content. It's not the network that the streamer builds up of you know, people that they know. It's you. You are the media. You are the medium. You are the message. You are a lot of other things that Marshall McLuhan talked about that I totally read about in that class. I totally read all the, as we all know, Irene always does the reading, especially when it's Moby Dick. Yeah, she always reads through all those chapters full of nautical terms and just like, fuck chat. What? We can't fuck chat. That's parasocial. We can't have that. Let me get my shit up on the, so we're waiting for Destiny to answer the phone. Destiny answers the, isn't there a fucking 90s movie called Destiny Picks Up the Phone or something like that? There's, I swear to God, chat, tell me if I'm right. Am I right? There's a 90s movie. It's like called Destiny. Wait, did I actually mention Moby Dick? I did. I mentioned Moby Dick. At least I didn't mention Kingdom Hearts. Nick Fuentes. I love that spelling of Nick Fuentes. Oh my God, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, you know, maybe there's cat boys in jail. I don't know. Why is Minecraft not even, oh yeah, because I turned it off. I'll put this back on. And then what else did I want to do? I wanted to go into stream elements. Get out of, wait a minute. Can you see this? You can see this, can't you? This is too much information for you to be able to see, chat. I'm sorry. You've seen the inner workings of stream elements.
Oh, hello.
Hey, Destiny, what's up?
Nothing much. What's up?
Oh, nothing much. I'm just trying to switch my stream elements back from being configured for my YouTube gaming channel to being configured for Twitch. So yeah, that's always fun. Yeah, but I'm glad that I didn't like didn't make you wait with my lateness. I usually do this like an hour later, but you know.
Yeah, no problem.
But yeah, you came on last week and we had a discussion. Oh my God, it got me in all kinds of trouble. You have no idea. But I'm still here. The cancel mob hasn't completely picked my bones dry. So, you know, I think we're okay.
Well, good job. Nice job.
Yeah. I don't know, Destiny. It's definitely a line that I walk on several different fronts, right? But I'm sure you understand that.
Yeah, something like this. Some kind of my life, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. What's up? What do you got for us?
Oh, my chat wants me to turn you up. So what I had for you was just kind of like you mentioned cancel culture in the last time you were on here with me and Merrick. Oh yeah, I turned you down for some reason last time, or maybe one of my mods did. I don't know, but somebody did. Yeah, so you had sort of broached the topic of cancel culture, and I know it's like the saddest like debate topic. It's like the one where the panel host can't think of anything else. So like what do we do? The cancel culture. We'll come on and talk about cancel culture, and usually it's a bunch of people that get around and like, yeah, cancel culture is kind of bad, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's a bad thing. Yeah, you know, maybe we shouldn't do that so much. Okay, nice debate, cool, right? And you know, that we've seen that show a million times. I didn't want to rerun that one. I actually kind of think. Sorry.
Hold on, wait 1 second.
Go ahead.
I gotta change it.
No worries. It'll give me a chance to feed the right links into my browser sources here. Let me see. I gotta get out of no console check and into no content. No, I'm not no content check chat. That's a mean parody account of me. Do you know that? I don't think they post anymore, but it was like a parody account of me. It was nocommentchick. But I've got content for you today. Hey, how about that? That's pretty cool. I just hope I have my content ready for Destiny. No, it's really weird about these cancel culture arguments because, like I said, they can so often, they only go surface deep and they don't really give us anything new. They don't really, you know, take us to unexplored ground, and they just kind of go in circles. And I sort of see the reason for that, you know. There's a lot at work here in chat. Let me just, nocommentchick. Let me just give you a little, you know, for people who don't know me, for people who haven't been around for a long time, I've been canceled a few times, like, right? My first time was, you know, when I was an SJW streamer. I did all the right things. I had, like, you know, the SJW friends, and I, like, didn't, like, I, like, said all the bad people, Vosh bad, Destiny bad, everybody that's bad is bad, Xanderhall's bad, they're all bad, ContraPoints is bad. You know, like, it was kind of required, right? You know, like, it was kind of like, you know, to get above, like, you know, small streamer status, you had to have friends, and it's kind of like all my homies hated Vosh, right? You know, so I go like Vosh bad, 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 right? And, you know, there was at some point when I realized, like, I was kind of bored with the, you know, I did streams, I did panels that were like this, but, you know, let's bring in all the snug, safe space people and just have a snug little conversation. Oh God, I'm not.
All right. I'm here now for real.
Hey,
What's up?
hey. I almost subtweeted Lumi there for a second, but I really wasn't trying to do that, chat. I was, you know, using snug in a different sense. Anyway, I was just going over with chat, you know, kind of my history, my experience in terms of, you know, getting canceled, you know, having, you know, come from that, I almost said snug, little SJW, you know, corner of the universe. And, you know, having had to wanting to branch out because I wanted to do debates, and then finding that people really reacted strongly to, you know, me debating certain creators who they had an idea about that this person was just essentially bad. Essentially, you know, against what we were doing, and that, like, you know, platforming them, even if they had like 80 million times more viewers than I had, was a sin against, I don't know, social justice or something, right? I wasn't ever clear. They did wrap themselves in the flag of social justice, you know, quite extensively. But yeah, you know, like, even being, I think, a pretty hardcore lefty streamer, you know, I definitely had people come at me, and it wasn't really over anything that was real. It wasn't really over anything that was substantive. It was always like the result of a personal conflict. And this person would see the opportunity to, I can use the mallet of social justice to bonk Irene with, you know, right? And to various effects. I mean, I honestly, when I look back at the people that, like, you know, have done that to me, they're kind of nowhere right now. So, you know, that's another question I guess I had was you got pretty serious about the effect you thought that cancel culture could have. And your example was, you know, losing like a partnership, losing a sponsorship, something like that, you know, over something that was really maybe just like a misunderstood or purposefully misunderstood, you know, a bit of rhetoric, right?
Yeah, wait, what exactly are we talking about? Hold on, because I just heard like 20 million things. Wait.
Sorry about that. No, you can feel free to stop me if I get confusing. Yeah, what we're talking about, I guess, is like, you know, kind of how we deal with cancel culture, like sort of where the phenomenon emerges from, and you know, what can be really you know, done about it. Like, so do you remember like last week when you were here with Merrick and stuff?
Yeah.
And you were saying that like the Nick Fuentes is a toxic racist piece of shit, but he can't do anything to me, you know? He doesn't really have that power. But like somebody like, you know, the person you were beefing with last week, which I think you two aren't beefing anymore, so I won't mention their name unless you want to, like, you know, if they could potentially go and talk to like a sponsor or something like that. And if the sponsor just kind of like is like believes them or doesn't have the proper context or whatever, that's actually like costing you money. And, maybe it's just over like, something that is either disingenuous or that's just like a personal conflict. And the social justice in this sense is being used as a cudgel rather than, being coming from a place where they really think that you're doing harm and that like they're somehow doing good by deplatforming you or getting your sponsorship yanked or whatever. So I guess that was kind of what I wanted to talk about. Sorry for the long and winding road that I sometimes lead us on.
Yeah. Wait. So what exactly? I'm just trying to figure out what I'm supposed to respond to. What is the question? I
guess the question is, I just wanted to make sure I had correct that you thought that that was true, that like somebody like kind of like a rogue SJW, I guess we could say, could have a lot more deleterious effect on you than somebody like Nick Fuentes. That there potentially like a lot of harm.
I believe that.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, I've experienced that. I've had like horrible shit said about me for really, really petty reasons. Sometimes just straight up interpersonal reasons. Sometimes like, people disagree with me and they want to get histrionic about my viewpoints and, make them into something that they're not. Kind of like we were talking about, like, turning Scrub's viewpoints into, holding them up as being like incel-y somehow, when they really weren't that. I've experienced, having people just kind of cut me off and stuff like that, losing friends. That's actually been the worst of it is kind of like, people that I thought were my friends and, they didn't ever give me the benefit of the doubt and just, sort of cut me out. But like overall, I guess what I'm saying is that maybe I was, because I was a certain size when I started to get canceled, that it ended up the benefit of it. The fact that people can see me getting victimized ended up like kind of being a wash with the negative effects. So like I said, I'm here before you now. I'm not like canceled, like nothing, happened to me. But, I guess what I wanted to talk to you about was kind of like the source of that. You were talking about like, I guess I would call it like a negative stereotype threat of, an SJW streamer who kind of, in their attempt maybe to defend a marginalized group, they end up harming that group through rhetoric that's disingenuous.
Are you asking if like when people try to cancel people, if they harm the group that they're canceling from?
I mean, that's what you had said last week. That like, that there was essentially the problem with Emily was that she's actually like harming, the groups that she's trying to defend by
being a caricature of the worst types of people,
right?
In these
like
groups
a raving blue-haired SJW, right? And I don't know if you can see me, but I blue hair, but that's actually part of my thing. I'm like the what did I call myself? Like the SJW with the anti-SJW aesthetic or something. I don't know. I have a thing that I work on, but like, I mean, this is a big issue for me, Destiny, because like as far as the left, having, cohesion, and I mean like the left, including like, SocDems and libs, like, I mean, like the whole left, being able to, work together and not like trip over our own collective dick. I mean, I think that figuring this shit out is kind of important. And
yeah, I mean, I agree. Yeah.
The fact that it's on your radar, just made me want to kind of, pick your brain about a few things, like just kind of some ideas that I had about sort of the phenomenon of cancel culture, having observed it from maybe even both sides, I guess you could say. I mean, like I went pretty hard on ContraPoints when ContraPoints put Buck Angel on as a guest in one of her videos. Not that like I thought that she needed to be like she needed to go away or anything like that, but that it's like you kind of like looking a little bit, like doing a little bit of research about Buck Angel. I was like, oh god, you kind of should have known who this guy was. Like that, like he's basically like a right winger. right? But anyway, that's oh god, I'm not trying to cancel Contra here. I feel like I actually made a mistake in that, because I was talking about this, I was saying these things at the same time that there was like a huge dogpile on Contra of people who really did want her gone, of people who really did want her off the internet. And although they didn't have the power to, like, you know, do that, to push her physically off the internet, they did kind of ruin her life in a way that's made things really hard for her and has affected her personal life in a number of ways. And that's generally, I guess, more like how, you know, like cancellation works, is it becomes like a, you know, kind of social pressure where, you know, you just end up canceling, you know, yourself, or it becomes harder to meaningfully, you know, interact online.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess my idea was that, you know, you said that, like, you know, you've got, you know, sort of the negative stereotype SJWs. I perceive those people as being, like, you know, not people that are, like, you know, super hardcore about intersectionality, but rather people who don't quite understand intersectionality and have opted instead for a kind of reductivist version thereof. They've opted instead for, you know, just they want kind of 3 easy rules to keep white people from getting canceled. Like, okay, if I follow these 3 rules, no more cancellation, right? Because I end up stepping in it. I don't mean to. It's a minefield. I don't see where the mines are. I always step in the mines. Just give me 3 rules to follow that'll keep me out of trouble. And that's what a lot of people want. And that's like an easy sell, and it's easy to, you know, reproduce. It's easy to send out. But I think what it does is it just turns this issue, like, people are so afraid to talk about this stuff because they feel like if they say anything, there's some chance that they're going to get perceived as like echoing right-wing narratives, for example. And it just makes it so that, like, people don't want to engage with the struggles of marginalized groups, and that is like the opposite effect of, you know, what we're trying to achieve here. Destiny, I feel like I'm just like
yeah, all right, I'm not sure where exactly you want me to chime in, or what you want me to respond to.
I want you to come down on this. Yeah, so I guess maybe like, as long as you're okay with me doing this great big exposition, because I'm really not trying to just like take over your shit here or anything like that.
Yeah, or I mean, what am I? Yeah, what do you want?
Yeah. So basically, you know, like, my idea is that we can't do anything about people who are going to weaponize social justice, because that phenomenon comes from the fact that you've got marginalized people. They've been shit on all their life. They have experienced transphobia. They have experienced racism. They have experienced sexism. And there's a temptation sometimes when they get into an interpersonal conflict, and, you know, honestly, you never know if something's because of prejudice. There's always the potential that, like, you know, well, I don't know, maybe this person's treating me this way because I'm trans. So there's like a temptation to just kind of like, well, you know, I'll just go ahead and activate my trap card here and see what happens. And that can become either, you know, a way to slime somebody who's innocent, or of anything stronger than just like disagreeing with you, or it can be a way to protect yourself if you're actually doing something that's more yikes than what, you know, you're like accusing the other person of. So I'm thinking that, like, you know, like, that's just something that certain people give into at certain times, and I don't think we can do anything about that. What we can do something about is people's understanding of these issues and moving that forward from like this, you know, sort of bastardized version of itself into like a real understanding of what an intersectional framework looks like, and that it's not just like white bad, black good, trans good, cis bad, man bad, woman good. You know what I mean? It's not just a reversal of the hierarchies which have caused this oppression, you know, that we're looking for. Like, that's, but I'm afraid that that's what a lot of right-wingers think. And unfortunately, there's some left-wingers who believe that too, but they've also got this conflict of like, I don't want to be racist, but I think these rules are kind of bullshit. So let me see, what do I do? Oh, I guess I follow the bullshit rules, but then I'm always secretly kind of resentful about them. I don't know. I feel like this is not it, Chief. And I just wanted to kind of pick your brains on your thoughts, you know, on this phenomenon, since it seems like it's been on your radar a lot lately, just from watching your content.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there are some people that are predisposed to kind of like lash out at others and weaponize their statuses or whatever to try to get people canceled. I guess it's hard to discourage people to do that, but we should still probably do that rather than giving into it.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I don't know how much we can discourage like that phenomena from happening, but I think that what happens, okay, so it's not the rogue SJW that you're really worried about. It's the fact that the people around them might have just as bad of a understanding of intersectionality and might kind of just go along with their bullshit because they're like, yeah, you did disagree with a black person, and like that goes in a really bad direction. Like, look, if I have to wait for a black content creator to come by to criticize Candace Owens, we're in trouble. If you have to wait for a trans content creator to come by to criticize Blair White, we're in trouble. I want people not to be walking on eggshells. And Destiny, you were definitely like walking on eggshells, like coming onto my stream. I kind of understand why though, because I have seen like really well-intentioned creators get themselves involved with trans issues, do the best that they can, really like come from an honest place, and still get called transphobic by you know, some of their fans, some of their, you know, anti-fans. Like, I'm thinking Xander Hall is the big one. Xander Hall's, like, of all the cis creators I know, he's done the most to actually understand trans issues, which means like stepping outside of his, you know, comfort zone. And you know, like, there's no reason for a cis person to need to like educate themselves on trans issues. Like, I need to educate myself on the way that cis people see the world, but no cis person really needs to understand like what my life is like. And yet Xander Hall went out of his way to try to, you know, kind of understand that and to advocate for us. And you know, I think is a really strong ally, and you know, gets a ton of shit from people because like he's not perfect, or you know, you know, sometimes it even isn't like an imperfection. It's just like, I don't know, is it because he's a cis guy? Like, there is a certain degree, I gotta say, that we marginalized folks sometimes essentialize white, straight, cis men as if they are like the fucking Dio Brando of oppression. But yeah, I mean, I guess I just wanted to express that I see that, you know, and that your identity actually gets essentialized sometimes. I wouldn't compare it to like, you know, a marginalized group exactly, but I do think it makes it harder for, especially when you know, somebody like you, and I've heard you like advocate for trans issues in a much more rational way than a lot of people do. A lot of times the feels that creep into like, you know, trans issues, like trans women in sports and stuff like that, they end up kind of jaundicing the argument and leading it into this fucked up place that like comes from an idea of conventional wisdom, but really like loses its grounding in facts pretty quickly, and you know, just ends up of like, yeah, I guess like trans women shouldn't be allowed to play sports or something, or but a league of our own, that would be fun. The trans leagues, wow. But like, I mean, you've been good about this stuff, and yet, you know, still you're getting called transphobic for what was it, like slipping up on you know, slipping up on somebody's pronouns or something like that.
I didn't. I don't even know. I'm not sure actually.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I remember the thing. So like you said and like that could either be depending on people, how them or him or something like that, and like I interpreted it as you were saying them, but like I guess some people, you know, saw it differently. Anyway, like, yeah, I mean, just kind of like a minor thing, and like you illustrated earlier, you know, like you can slip up on a cis person's pronouns just because you're like thinking of, you know, her, but you're talking about him, and you know, like people misspeak. And if we're gonna hold everybody to like, you know, this thing of like, hey, if you ever misspeak and it sounds, you know, kind of transphobic, it sounds kind of racist, it sounds kind of misogynistic, we're just going to be like, all right, forevermore, you represent this, you are misogynist, you are a transphobe, and I don't want to have anything to do with you, and like the rights of exclusion, all the Mark Fisher Vampire Castle shit, right? Have you, I'm sorry, maybe you haven't read that one.
I haven't. No, I don't think so. The Vampire Castle
it's
is
a
not
very yeah, it's like a very short little piece, but and I wouldn't actually recommend it. But it's the only piece that really, it's one of the first things to kind of like talk about this concept of like, hey, you know, like from actually a leftist perspective, I think in Mark Fisher's, you know, case.
Yeah. So, wait. So, what feedback are you looking for me for here? Or I don't know where it sounds like we probably generally
where
agree
you
on
would
most things. Like, yeah.
we agree on most things. Let's see, what did I not agree with you on? I've got I took some notes here. I mean, that was one of the things that I wanted to know, if you saw maybe the wisdom of going after people's understanding of intersectionality and trying to improve that, rather than, like trying to, like, I don't know what your idea was, like if we could cancel the woke scolds somehow, that would fix things,
I
or...
don't think we can cancel woke scolds or even change people's understanding of intersectionality so much that they stop trying to cancel people. I think we just have to give cancelers like less power. Like if somebody says like, "Oh, this person is an evil fucking transphobe," then you're like, "Oh, okay, well, what did they say?" Like, "Oh, okay, well, that's pretty shitty. Like maybe we should like give them better idea." I mean, it depends on what we mean when we say somebody's transphobic. Like, are they accidentally misgendering someone, or are they saying like trans people aren't real and we should kill them all? Right? There's huge differences between these two things, right? We should probably
Yeah.
like, yeah, just not give counselors so much power, I guess, is what I would
Well, I
say.
think part of what gives them that power is that people don't understand the issue, and so they treat it like a minefield, and they don't really, they want to do like a knee-jerk response. Like
Yeah, of course.
if they've got a feeling that like, hey, look, everybody's looking at me to like unfollow this person, to block this person, and if I don't, they're gonna think I'm a transphobe. They're gonna think I'm, misogynist. They're gonna, think that I'm a bad person. I think that we can sort of ameliorate this just by, sort of understanding these being less, I guess you would call it, essentialist, and sometimes like ID poll gets like brought into this, but like that's almost its own can of worms, and I'm not sure if I want to open that exactly today. That like almost brings us back to the 2016 election and Hillary Clinton's attempt to utilize identity politics to shame women out of voting for Bernie Sanders and all the fallout from that. But basically, like ID poll, I guess, is what people call that simplistic version, where it's just like, all right, look, we've had, white people have had it too good. Men have had it too good. Women have had it too bad. Like it's that whole thing of like, where you essentialize it and you say, all right, there's a victim group here and there's an oppressor group here. The oppressor group is bad and the victim group is good. And so to fix this, we're just going to reverse it and make it so that like, you are now of lower status. And like, I mean, first of all, that's not realistic. That's not going to happen. And second of all, like that's a pretty hard sell for allyship. And third of all, it's not actually what we want. Like, as coming from our marginalized group, like that's not what I want. I definitely don't want you to have to step on eggshells, because Destiny, let me let you know, like,
Wait, okay, real quick, just to be clear, I'm
Yeah.
not stepping on eggshells for anything. I'm not stepping on eggshells.
Well,
Like,
in terms of being worried that like I'm gonna react, like if you say dudes or something, that I'm gonna.
I'm not.
Like...
I'm not. That's not anything I think about.
Okay.
I understand my position on trans issues. I'm not a transphobic person. I never feel like I'm stepping on eggshells around any trans. It's not something I ever think about. It's not. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you just mentioned a lot. You were really careful to say that to point out that you didn't mean dude in a bad way, and I thought that
No, I was just fighting against the idea that I call lots of people like dude, or I say guys or whatever, and like people are like, oh, you're intentionally misgendering. It's like, no, this is dumb as fuck. So but I'm not like, yeah, I might use the wrong pronoun. I think I referred to Scrub King as a she in our conversation.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not I don't feel like I'm walking on eggshells or anything.
I just feel like you shouldn't have to say that. And honestly, as like a trans person, like it would be like, so here's the deal. When you or I are talking on this platform, like, I mean, obviously you're a bigger streamer than me, but you agree to talk to me, and then you kind of give me, you it's like you reach your hand out to me and you pull me up onto your platform. So we're kind of like on equal ground right here, right? But the second then, like, kind of my trans status is brought up, somewhere in people's minds, like I'm like a half step down, right? And so, if you have to always be like, by the way, I didn't mean that in a transphobic way. If you have to always like kind of draw attention, to that, it's actually bad for me too. So I guess what I'm saying is that like, our interests are kind of like in line here. And, I don't know. I don't want to get hung up on this topic necessarily. There is a lot going on in the world that's kind of like taken up the whole conversation. as far as the storming of the Capitol building and such.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Yeah, for sure.
And I guess you've been, or at least in your YouTube content that I've seen, you've been talking about, kind of the idea that a lot of people are you're hearing a lot of people claiming that the reason that the cops weren't harder on these protesters was, out of racism, that they compare the Black Lives Matter protest to the to this, and they say that the reaction from the police is vastly different, and attribute that to the cops being racist, right?
Yeah, I think that this was a failure in leadership from the top down. I don't think this was like just all the cops were racist or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree that focusing on the racism is probably a mistake. I would say though that there is something going on, I think, with the cops in terms of how they treat different types of protesters. And I mean, I guess race probably has something to do with it too, but it's also cultural. Right, when a cop, and we kind of know what kind of people go into this job of cops, and it's a self-perpetuating thing. If you don't have a cop personality type and you become a cop, you're going to wash out of there really quick. You're not going to feel comfortable there. You're not going to stay there. You're not going to get a promotion. You're not going to be one of the boys, right? Unless you kind of fit that culture, right? And this culture is one that looks at, a Black Lives Matter protester and sees, I don't know, maybe somebody more dangerous than they actually are. And then, this is a Black Lives Matters protester that could be white or could be black or could be a blue-haired SJW or something like that. They see the other when they look there, but when they look at a Proud Boy or a patriot or one of these people in the MAGA attire, they're more likely to see their kid. They're more likely to see their uncle. They're more likely to see something that they recognize, and therefore there might be tendency to treat that with a little bit more humanity than would be afforded to somebody that they see and look at and see the other. So I mean, I honestly think
it's possible, but I'm pretty sure a cop got killed, and they were fighting pretty rough with each other.
Yeah, they
all
did
the videos
die of the
saw.
wounds. You're right. Yeah, recently one of the cops that got injured in the protest did die of their wounds there. So yeah, and the MAGAs are fighting the cops at this point. So
was there?
So
I'm trying to
that might
think.
change
I'm trying to
somewhat,
just
but
remembering what
here's
happened.
what I'm really worried about, Stephen. Though, the fact that there's this resonance, let's just say, between the police culture and between the MAGA culture, between this I mean, essentially what's becoming more and more like a terrorist group in our country, right? Because there's this this resonance between the two. I mean, do you see what that could cause? Because the police is...
Yeah, I mean, I understand what it could cause. I'm just saying that I don't know how relevant it was to this particular issue. I don't think it's fair to try to shoehorn every single topic into a particular thing. I think there are a lot of problems related to the police from the top down, be it personal biases, be it ideological biases, be it personality types. I just don't think it's fair when there's other failures going on to always say it was because of this one particular thing.
Good point. That does kind of let Trump get off the hook as far as refusing the as I understand it, there would have normally been National Guard there, and that
but it seems like a lot of requests were put in from a lot of different areas of leadership, including the mayor of DC, that they did not want federal coordination on this, which is troubling. Right?
So it's more than just the president. So you're saying we're letting a lot of people...
It was more than just... it wasn't just the president. That was the thing that I was trying to figure out over the past few days, because if they were begging for federal help and Trump alone was saying no, there's two things that would have happened. Is one, I feel like I would have seen some outcry from the DC mayor and from other politicians around the country. And two, I feel like that would have leaked, because Trump's administration is unbelievably leaky. It would have leaked that Trump denies assisting, Capitol Police with blah, blah, blah. Trump denies coordinating with MPD. It seemed like that was the case. Or it seemed like that would have happened. But now we're getting a whole bunch of reports out, and we saw the statement by the mayor herself with the MPD saying, hey, listen, no federal troops. We don't want you guys here. It's going to mess everything up. We can handle it. We'll bring in I think they brought in 340 National Guard people to do traffic stuff. But they explicitly seemed like they did not want to coordinate with federal police. So
what
it
do you
seemed
think they were worried about?
So reading the mayor's statement and trying to read between the lines is really difficult, but it seems like they just didn't want to give the impression of there being like a militarized police force going on with with like the counting of the votes and everything. They were trying to avoid like like a Lafayette Square situation or whatever, with like protesters getting gassed and the bad look and everything. I don't know. Like, that's, if I'm trying to guess, like, it seems like that's the only thing I can think of. But
Yeah. I mean, it is like, I mean, I can see like the concern there, just given the Trump's getting more and more erratic. From what I understand, the people that handle him, the people that manage him, they have only been able to do so by every time that he says, like, you know, this is fucked up, we need to do something really ridiculous, they tell him, no, Trump, just wait. You know, they'll kind of give him this copium pill of like, no, Pence can take care of it on the 6th, Trump, just wait till the 6th. They keep on like putting him off and stuff, but nobody can really tell him, hey, jackass, you lost, take the L. You know what I mean? Because the second you say that to Trump, you're gone, you're out of there. And you know, you're probably blacklisted within, you know, if your plans for the future included, you know, grifting off of the Trump, all the legion of Trump suckers, you know, that's not going to work out for you so well. So you know, it's a hard thing for anyone to, you know, speak the truth to power, with Trump in particular. And like, you know, just the fact that that speech, you know, I mean, he didn't exactly say directly, you know, go take out the Capitol, but
he basically did.
Yeah. Basically, stochastically, he's pushing them in that direction. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, 1,000,000,000,000,000%. Yeah, I wouldn't call this stochastic. I would call this direct. Like, he literally told people to go march and got them all riled up. They were like 2 miles away, and he sent them down the fucking street to go and fuck the Capitol building up. Yeah, I think that was like pretty direct. I don't think that was indirect at all.
Yeah. Okay, so you're even stronger on that, but then I'm yeah. No, it's so I guess, I mean, I sort of understand their concern, not wanting like troops that are under Trump's authority. Is that what they were thinking?
Yeah, I guess, because the capital area is really weird. I think those troops answer directed to Trump. And then there was the whole meme
Right.
earlier of like unmarked police like throwing people into vans and stuff. I think they were just trying to avoid bad PR. But I think they went way too overboard on it, and they fucked up really, really, really hard. And now people are trying to point fingers at everybody to figure out what happened. But I think this was a failure of leadership,
Yeah.
100%. Or I'm sorry, hold on. It was a failure of leadership, 100%.
Right.
The police that were there at the Capitol did not have the manpower to deal with what was going on. The MPD was not in a position to assist, and the National Guard was called in far too late on day of without a good contingency plan made. And all of this falls on like the MPD, the Capitol Police, and their coordination that it just wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it'll be really interesting to do some more research and sort of like try to uncover, you know, what the reason behind that was. If it's just an issue of like trying to get around, you know, bringing troops that are in Trump's control in there or what. But yeah, I agree with you that like they definitely were not equipped to be able to, you know, stop that incursion into the Capitol building in any way. I just think that when you see stuff like the selfie that you know, the cop allowed to be taken with them, like I feel like my concern with the cops is that they don't recognize terrorists. They don't recognize danger. They don't recognize like what's a destabilizing force in our society versus what's
I mean, that's definitely,
you know, exercising
that definitely happened.
free
To be
speech.
clear, there were I hate pointing at like one or two pictures, because you had a lot of stuff going on with police taking pictures of like BLM people as well. Like, this was like, people act like this was like an
But the
unprecedented.
BLM people weren't causing a national security threat, right? For the most part.
Well, depending on the city, BLM caused a fuck ton of damage in riots. I think
So
in
you're talking about
Minneapolis
like
alone,
Minneapolis, the police.
I'm not saying, I'm not taking an ideological position one way or another. I'm just saying that like the idea that I just want to have conversations that reflect what actually happened. Okay, the idea that BLM people were beating the shit out of everywhere and they didn't get the person is that's just obviously not true. We've got tons of footage of people like past dark that are like setting shit on fire and a whole bunch of damage going on. We also have footage of cops treating protesters very unfairly in BLM protests, absolutely. But we also have pictures of cops that were like cops taking knees and cops taking pictures with other BLM people with their hands up and stuff doing the Black Power thing or whatever. Like, the idea that like every single cop is this white
They're not
nationalist,
monolithic.
that just is, it's easy fodder for the right to attack. Like we
But
can
you
all
would,
go up and look up pictures of like all these cops like taking a knee and stuff for BLM and stuff. So when you say things like, oh well, imagine the protesters were black, they would have been treated, it's like, well, hold on, it's a little more complicated than that, I think.
It is a little bit more complicated than that, but like, I mean, I think that really the cultural thing, and that includes, I guess, race. And you're right, there cops aren't monolithic. Not every cop is white, but it does tend to be like, I'm wondering, because like I wanted to drag this research up and like actually be able to link it to you and stuff like that, but maybe you're familiar with this study. It was a study on group dynamics, right, where they had a group of people that, I don't know, 14 people or whatever, and over the course of several weeks they'd take one person out of the group, they'd bring a new person into the group, and by the end of the period they had completely shifted over so that no one that was in the original group was still in the group that remained, right? And they kind of took measures of group dynamics. I don't remember exactly what, but what they determined was that the dynamic that was set at the beginning was kind of carried forth to the end. So it didn't matter that you had completely different people in this group. By the end of the study, there was something about, a group being formed and establishing certain patterns that has like a momentum that like carries forward. I kind of would argue that the same thing is true with the police, and that like, the big I think mistake in efforts to focus on reform and better training, and can we just like take this institution and make it a little bit better, I think it like neglects the fact that in order to have the institutional like change its culture, which I think it's all about the culture, not as much. I mean, obviously training could be better, and we've seen some examples of what was that training called that they were doing in God, there was a name for this, but it was like essentially training to teach the cops that like at any time your life could be taken. One of these so-called citizens, they could pull out a knife, they could pull out a gun. They're really, basically warrior training. Yeah, it was called warrior training. Yeah. And like, so there's examples of like really bad like training of cops that results in maybe more civilian or more police brutality than we should have. But I'm kind of worried about the institution itself. In my mind, when I look at police officers and I understand the function that they serve in society, right? And I'm not going to give you some ACAB argument where it's like, society can police itself or something, or we just like take care of people in the first place and they'll never need cops. Like, I don't believe that. But I do believe that whoever we have as our like public servants, our peace, officers, right? I feel like it should be somebody with a lot of education. Like, I feel like that role is at least as important to us as a society as a doctor is. I don't know if we should, put police through like 8 years of school or something like that, but certainly, an understanding of sociology, a master's certification. Hell, in some ways, these would be like kind of gatekeeping devices to where if you do get somebody that wants to be a cop that is like got a lot of implicit or explicit bias, they're going to be less likely to jump those hurdles, right? Than somebody that's really going to it for the right reason. So I'm going to say that I don't think the cops are compensated enough. I think they have a really tough job, and they put themselves in a lot of danger, and they do a lot for society. And that I don't think they really get like, they have strong unions and stuff like that, but I don't think that, I think they should be treated and be paid more along the lines of a professional, because I think that's really what the job is. And, what we've got is a culture of tough guys.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot of institutional problems related to the police force, 100%.
Well, what would you? I mean, I don't want to open too big of a can of worms here, but what are your ideas as far as fixing that?
There was a great push for a while, but it never got that popular, I guess. It's called 8 Can't Wait. It's there's like 8 different data-driven ideas for ways to kind of like improve police forces. It was like let's see, it was like a ban on chokeholds and strangleholds, a requirement for police to attempt to de-escalate, which if you've seen a lot of videos apparently doesn't happen, require warning before shooting, requires exhausting all alternative measures before shooting, duty to intervene in certain violent conflicts, ban shooting at moving vehicles. I can't believe some police departments allow that. Or require a use of force continuum, meaning if this doesn't work, do this. If this doesn't work, do this, et cetera, et cetera. And then requires comprehensive reporting on like all types of altercations. There are like a ton of different, yeah.
Yeah, so you just essentially like training improvements, and I guess I mean like I'm I'm in favor of that. Like, right, that's definitely
and then
better
real
than
quick,
nothing. Go ahead.
I told just because of my scheduling, so I told friends that I had a 1 o'clock thing at Rust today, so I'm running a little bit over. But go ahead and you can finish up whatever point you want to make. Go for it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, no, I thought you wanted to say something there. Yeah, no, I worry that that better training is not going to be enough. And but like given the opportunity to take that or to not take that, I'll take that, right? Like if Biden wants to try to implement that in some way, I don't have a lot of hope for it, right? For any kind of change, because this has been really hard to change these institutions. These institutions really do not want to change. In some ways, they don't feel like they're policing unless they're doing the things that most of us can agree on are injustice, are overreach. There's a attitude in the police department that black neighborhoods are fundamentally dangerous, are different kinds of places with different kinds of people, and I mean about all the sort of phenomenons like a lot of cops like don't police the places that they live in the suburbs, they police the cities, they go back home, they look at the place that they go into work as being this like hostile environment, and when you're treating it like a hostile environment, you're more likely to reach for that that piece, especially given the training that we were talking about, the warrior training, which your idea seems to be to focus on training. I feel like the whole organization needs to be reformed, and as long as you're just keeping on changing out the water in that barrel, like the metaphor I always use is like you got a barrel full of horse piss, okay, and it rains a whole bunch, and most of that stuff in the barrel is not horse piss. Are you gonna drink out of that barrel? Or are you going to find a barrel are you drinking out of a barrel? I don't know. You're a cowboy or something. Imagine you're a cowboy. So, are you going to drink out of the barrel that had a little bit of horse piss in it? And you're like, oh, there's not much, and it's fine, whatever. Or are you going to be like, yeah, let's maybe get another barrel that doesn't have the horse piss in it in the first place? And that's kind of where I'm at, not like a wild anarchist, like ACAB, like, wonderland of chaos or anything like that. But, something where we're moving towards a professionalized police force that gets compensated like professionals and that attracts quality people that are going to be conscientious and that are going to actually give maybe some of these sociological issues consideration that a normal person wouldn't, rather than it being the opposite way, where we have people that are kind of like worse on these issues than most people just because of the culture that's taken root in these institutions.
Yeah, for sure. I think there definitely needs to be like a reform from the ground up, which some people meant when they said refund or not refund the police, defund the police or abolish the police. I think some people were saying that like it needs to be reformed from the ground up for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, like that's the best hope, but like I'm sure you and I both realize that reforming them even a little bit is going to be really challenging, and we might not be able to get as drastic of a reform as we actually need. Well, it sounds like we actually agree on, or we disagree on a lot less than we thought. We have a really similar understanding of cancel culture as a phenomenon and the solution thereof, and also surprise, surprise on the police issue. I thought I was really going to get some pushback from you on the police thing, but it sounds like we're probably closer together than either of us realize. So that's
Yeah,
good.
so.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for coming by here, Stephen. It's been great talking to you, and like a really great conversation. And I appreciate you and your community, and your focus on logic and rationality, and the sort of best debate tactics, or you know what I mean, like kind of not letting a lot of bullshit slide. So that's much appreciated, Stephen.
Sure. Well, thanks a lot for the conversation.
Everybody, go give Destiny a follow. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Let me give you a shout out, Destiny. Like, if you haven't heard of this guy before, you might want to give him a follow. Anyway, anything you want to plug? Anything you want to talk about? You got coming up?
No, I don't have anything planned right now. I'm just home relaxing, and I'm gonna
All
play
right,
Rust.
well,
So,
enjoy
yeah.
that Rust. And
Yeah.
are you on the server with us on, or?
I think so. I'm not sure, but maybe. Yeah.
Oh wow, that could get interesting. Okay, well we'll look for that. Thank you so much, Destiny. I will talk to you later. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
All right, peace out. Okay. Somebody come on and debate me. Somebody come on and call me out. Did I say something yikes just now?